What you are reading is not a title error, and I'm not referring to the film with Uma Thurman and Sean Connery. Before you start going, how did this guy see the Avengers? Let me put it to you this. Let me fill in the fact for you. There's an account called the Avengers Movie on YouTube. Now that account, if you'll excuse me, that account is actually a combination of 4 accounts. And those 4 accounts, just give me a second, I really should have prepared for this. Those 4 accounts are, I believe, Luca X-Men 3, Superboy 45, Trunks X89, Dang It Dan 89, and I thought that there was also just 1 minute. I also believe, well, I think that's it. Yeah, I think it's those 4. I thought there was another count, but apparently not. Anyway, yeah, these guys have come together and used they make great fan trailers, and really interesting videos. So these 4 guys have come together, sort of the Avengers come together, and they decided to put their creative talent to work to make none other than an Avengers movie. So what they pretty much did was they took clips from all these different Marvel movies and put them together, and they wove together an Avengers fan film for YouTube. It's divided into 14 parts, and honestly, this film is actually, I would say, very, very well done. Now, if this was a feature film, I'd have to say not so much, but as a fan film, it is incredible. I can tell you that much. So, yeah, so I'm gonna have 3 videos, including this one, on it. So my next videos for the next few days will be, I guess you can consider the Avengers trilogy. So the points I want to talk about in this video are going to be the introduction, the story, and the characters. Now, first of all, the introduction. One of the things that I thought has to be important is how you begin the film with any film, no matter what you're doing. And there's lots of films, especially sequels, where you go, how are they going to begin the film, you know? But they chose it very well in this case. What they decided to do for the first scene is have the scene from Incredible Hulk where Tony Stark and General Ross are in the bar, and he mentions we're putting a team together. That is probably the best choice that you could do. First of all, it not only sets up the entire movie, but if you had picked something like the scene where Tony, like, you have to have it, you pick the scene where you're literally purposely weaving 2 universes together. Okay, so, but yeah, like, that is, if you had picked the scene where Tony Stark and Nick Fury are talking, yeah, you could do that, and it would set up for the whole movie, but at the same time, you don't see Nick Fury again. Like, it'd be like some random dude, like Joe Blow or anything, and you just think, okay, what's so important about this? But it does set up for sort of the I'm not going to say the false assumption, but the convincing assumption that all these characters are talking together and all this stuff. So yeah, that was, I thought, the best choice. I actually was wondering, like, how are they going to start this thing? But they picked the best choice of how to begin the film. For the next point, the story. The story is pretty much about, not to give you guys too many spoilers, the story is about the cure, the mutant cure, except apparently the cure is also for, I'm assuming, all the superheroes' abilities. So I'm guessing the Hulk and Spider-Man and I think Mr. Fantastic. But overall, it's pretty much sort of the story of X-Men 3. Magneto's ticked off about the cure, and he's recruiting people. But yeah, it is pretty much just about that. Also another story that they weave into there is the Silver Surfer coming to Earth to destroy it, by the command of his master Galactus. Now, personally, I thought that was maybe a bit much. Like, I thought, you're probably best to just you're probably best to just use one of those and not two, because those are two pretty big plots. Cure that can take away abilities, and the world coming, somebody gonna eat the Earth. That's too significant. It's kind of like, how can I say? It's kind of like putting together, what can I say? The plot from Superman Returns and the plot from X2. It's like kind of weaving those two things together. Except imagine that they could realistically work together. It's kind of like that. So but I thought that for this film, the thing that would really probably draw them together is the cure itself. And I kept on going, well, I guess there are a few parts where it does sort of work, but at the same time, I kept on going a bit, I don't know, Silver Surfer and Galactus thing really doesn't feel like, it just feels like, oh wait, now we have to deal with Galactus now, and the Avengers really didn't have a lot to do with that. It was really just how they end in Rise of the Silver Surfer. They have Silver Surfer going up and getting rid of him. So yeah, that was, I just thought that the cure thing was a strong enough plot for them to kind of mesh with. Regarding the characters, though, I think he did pick the right characters for it. Wolverine, Hulk, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic. And the villains, they were a great choice. Also, another thing I noticed was actually you sort of made some absences or really small parts of characters like War Machine. They're necessity parts, but the necessity parts you kind of downsize, but I think it's a good idea. Like War Machine, yeah, James Rhodey is a military guy, so he'd probably be involved, but that doesn't mean he has to be in every scene with Tony Stark, And Betty Ross, you see, like, there are just parts where you think, like, yeah, if you want more motion for the Hulk, you could put her in there, but at the same time, what's she really gonna do? What is she really gonna do? Not every character in this movie needs a love interest, Actually, I don't think that there was a single character that did have a love interest really put into this movie. But yeah, it is, I thought that the characters were really, you did decide well on which characters should stay and which characters should go. And the villains, they were very interesting. The whole thing with, like, there's, like, Doom, there's Magneto, there's Green Goblin, there's Ironmonger, there's Abomination. I actually thought you were going to probably use some of the Brotherhood guys, but you only used, like, a few of them. I think it was more of the sweeping kind of army that you decided to use. But I think it was a good idea, because as much as I'd like to see Hulk fight somebody like Juggernaut, it'd be probably difficult to do in the editing room. But yeah, it is fantastic, fantastically woven characters, both good and bad. And I think that they really did pick the right characters. As much as I really wish that they could have done Captain America, that's realistically not possible. Unless you wanted to use the 90s thing, but then you'd seriously have a significant difference of camera lenses from those two time periods, present day and the 90s. So yeah, that's part 1 on my review of the Avengers fan film. And yeah. I'll get back to you guys later. All right, bye.